Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everyday Prepared. Now, I call this channel Everyday Prepared just to kind of let people know this is not Doomsday Preppers. Nothing like it at all. So, if that's what you're looking for, then this is the wrong place. Now, this series of videos, beginning prepping on a budget. And I got the idea to do this series because I see a lot of questions on different pages, different groups, and even in person, people will ask about, and it all boils down to the same question is, where do I start? How do I get started being prepared? Now, I see a lot of answers on there, and there are good answers, but none of them really address someone truly starting prepping on a budget. So that's what we're going with this. Now, in future videos in this series, we're going to break it down into different subjects and really break them down and get into detail on them. So stay tuned for those. But this month, it's going to be fairly simple. The first thing I want you to do is just sit down with your family. Um, Whoever you think is going to be around in some type of an emergency situation. If it's just your immediate family, do that. If you think, you have a mom and dad that live down the street or cousin or uncle, whatever, best friend, have them come over and just sit down and talk about what kind of emergency situations do you think are most likely to happen in your neighborhood, where you're from. Now, I live in Southwest Missouri, so here we have a lot of ice storms and tornadoes, things like that. So those are two that are pretty high up on my list. But just make a list of what you think is most likely to happen. Now, I encourage you to have your kids in on these talks and let them come up with scenarios, let them come up with answers for it. And don't worry so much if they throw something ridiculous out there. It doesn't hurt anything if you ask them for an emergency and they're like, well, zombies come. Okay, that's great. You know what? I'll put zombies on the list. Now, what do you think we're going to need if zombies come? We still have to eat, right? We still need water. So let them come up with some of those solutions as well. And even if it's something silly like zombies, they're going to at least be invested in the conversation and, thinking about it, coming up with answers. And later on, when we get a little further on this journey, we'll do a couple of drills, and that's the kind of situation where your kid may not remember to put shoes on in the morning to go to school if you don't tell them. But if it's some weekend and you're at home and you're like, hey, you remember that conversation we had about emergencies? Well, we're having an emergency and now you flip the breaker and you don't have electricity for today. You'd be surprised how much they remember about your conversation and what they're going to need in that type of scenario. So keep them involved. Okay, now that we've kind of thought through what possibly could happen, we have to have a goal. We need a plan. So the first goal I want to set for us is one from FEMA. And FEMA recommends that every household have 3 days worth of food, 3 days worth of water on hand at all times. So that's going to be our first goal. Now, to find out what we have, we need to do some spring cleaning. Okay, your refrigerators, your freezers, your cupboards, your pantries, your shelves, anywhere you store food and consumables, I want you to go through and clean those out this month. Okay, get rid of all the old food. You know you're not going to eat it. If it's been stuck in there for months and you're like, it gets pushed to the back, you're not going to eat it. Get rid of it. We need the room. The same thing where you store your consumables, like your toothpaste, your razor blades, your soap, your toilet paper, all of that stuff. We want to clean those areas out and get them a little more organized. So we'll have some more room. And while you're putting things back on the shelf, make you a little inventory. It doesn't have to be super detailed. If you have 3 packages of chicken in the freezer, just write 3 packages of chicken. Now, when you get your list, I want you to look over your food items and see How much food do you have? How long, if you were stuck in your house, how long could you live on that food? Do you have 3 days worth? If not, no worries. We're going to get there. If you do, if you're like, man, I got 4 days worth of food here. I got 4 days worth of water. That's great. So now you change your goal. Your goal is no longer 3 days worth of food and water. It's 7 days. If you have 7 days, make it 2 weeks or a month that we're trying to get. And because that's what we're going to do. Once we reach these goals, we're just going to extend them out a little bit until we get a good, solid base of food and water. So now, what I want for this month, every time you go to the grocery store, and some people don't go every week, some people go once a month or every 2 weeks, whatever it is. But I'm going to explain this on a weekly basis. So every week when you go to the grocery store, I want you to get one extra meal. If you know your family loves spaghetti and you have spaghetti to eat every week, buy an extra thing of spaghetti. Okay. If whatever it is, just make it food that you know your family eats. If you have someone in your family that has specific dietary restrictions, take that into account. But get food you normally cook and you normally eat. Just one extra meal. And there's an old saying in the restaurant industry, first in, first out. So you want to take your old food, bring it to the front, put the new stuff behind it. So that way we're always rotating it. That way, until we get a good base of food in our house, we're not going to worry about expiration dates. A lot of stuff we're going to want in the future are going to be things that have a longer shelf life. But, just starting and we don't have a large budget, we want to get food that we eat. So get your food on. The same thing with water. If you drink bottled water, I want you to get 2 extra cases of water this month. If you don't drink bottled water, they have those 1 gallon, looks like milk jug containers of water that are really cheap. So get 4 of those. So that way at the end of this month, you're going to have 4 extra meals and about 4 gallons of water, which is a pretty good start. We're getting there on our 3 days. So do those, clean everything out, keep it organized so you can rotate your food well. When we get the next video is probably going to be food or water. I haven't decided yet. But when we get to the food, I'm going to explain a little more on the system I use. I call it the backup system. I buy backups for everything. So all of that just lets me be a little more adaptable when it comes time for grocery shopping. And I'll explain that a little more in that video. But like I said, we're at the end of the month now. We have 4 meals and 4 gallons of water. So one other thing I'd like you to do this month is get some knowledge. And there's a big debate on paper books versus ebooks. I really don't care. You can get ebooks cheaper. So if money is really that much of a concern, get ebooks. I get paper books because I look at screens all day long. And when I want to read something like that, I like holding the book and the feel of a book in my hands when I read it. But these are just a couple I pulled off my shelf. I just got this one in the other day, actually. Projects to get you off grid. All kinds of really neat projects to do. There's some solar panel projects, chicken coops, rain barrels, that kind of thing. And you don't have to read the whole book when you get it. Just have it. If you go through, if you've been wanting to get some chickens, and hey, I need to know how to make a chicken coop, you can just flip to the channel on chicken coops, read about chicken coops. But you'll have the book on hand in an emergency if you need something real quick. Another one of my favorites is the Back to Basics. It also has a lot of old time how to do projects. So how to can, how to raise livestock, how to, garden, things like that. So they're really, really useful information. So get you some kind of a prepper library started, so you can learn some information on how to do things. Other than that, the only thing I really want you to spend money on this week is an envelope. Get an envelope, put some money in it. $5. If you have $5, put $5. 10, 40, whatever you want to put in there, put it in there. And that's going to be your prepper savings account. And basically, when we get into some detail in some of these future videos, there are going to be things that aren't quite budget friendly. Okay, it's going to be more expensive. So it helps to have a little bit of money socked away. Other than that, I don't want you don't have to spend any more money on anything else this month. Just the 4 meals, 4 waters, and a book, and put a little bit in your savings account. And one thing that might help out a little bit, and I'm not the only way I'm affiliated with this is I'm a user myself, but it's an app. You can get it on Android or Apple. It's called Fetch. And it's one of those where you go shop, you scan your receipt, and you get points. Once you reach a certain level of points, you trade it in for gift cards. You can do Amazon. They have tons of different gift cards you can trade them in. Now, I use this, and we've both had it for a little over a year, and I think we've traded in about $50 worth of gift cards. So you're not going to get rich doing this, but hey, $50 is $50, right? So you can use this. You can save up those points and help on some of your prepper items. I will put down a couple of promo codes down there. Uh, you download the app when you register everything. You put in that code. You get, I think it's 2,000 points when you scan your first receipt. But I like Fetch because it is by far the easiest, most user-friendly app for this kind of thing that I have tried. You don't have a lot of ads to watch. I don't think I've ever seen an ad on it. So what it is, you go shopping, you lay your receipt out. I think it's 4 buttons. You have to push 4 buttons to get to where you took the picture. As long as it can read the store name, the date, and the total, you hit submit. It submits it. It gives you the points, and that is it. It is super easy, user friendly, like I said. So if it's something that interests you, please download it, put in that promo code, get you some extra points. I will drop some links for some books that I like down below if you're not sure what you're interested in. Those links, they are affiliate links, so they don't cost you anything, but it will, if you use that link and you buy a book, it takes a couple cents out of Amazon's pocket and gives it in ours, and it really helps the channel out. So use those links. Other than that, let me know what you think of this video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, I just ask if you give it a thumbs down, drop a comment in there with it. Let me know what you didn't agree with, what you didn't like about the video. I know I need a haircut, so you don't have to tell me about that. But whatever you don't like about it, let me know, because I really want to make this channel better, get more people watching. Like it, and like I said, share it. If you want to get in on the future videos, you can subscribe. That way you'll get a notification that a new video is out, so you won't miss it. If you have a friend that has wanted to get into prepping, but they're kind of scared because a lot of preppers are very pushy and, hey, do this my way or you're going to die. And we're not like that. That's not how we do things here. So, but yeah, please like, share, subscribe. Even if you didn't like it, please share it everywhere. Let's get some people in here to get some good feedback, and questions, comments, and concerns are always welcome. I can't say that I will answer every one of them, but I will try. And until next month, take care.